Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and it's half-time. Celtic are a goal down. Things are not going to plan, and I'm going to talk to Kevin McCluskey, Sean and Lawrence Connolly all about it. Kevin, is it a case of let's no panic? We've made a number of chances. There's been some excellent saves by Marshall. We're a man up, but we're a goal down. Let's no panic. Is that the way that we're going to be viewing this at half-time?
I would think so, yeah. I don't think it does us any favours, or we don't get any benefit from panicking at this stage of the game. We've been in this position before, actually, pretty recently in games against St Mirren and Hearts, although we had more time to, come back from being a goal down. But we know we've been there, and we know we have come back. We're not. Up until the goal, I think we were playing fairly well. We were creating chances. There was a lot of good play coming down the right-hand side with Jota and Johnston in particular linking up pretty well. Goals knocked the stuffing out us a wee bit, and we've looked flat since then. But you're confident enough that Ange will go through them if he needs to at half-time. He'll give them a wee word of encouragement. We'll come back out. We'll keep on playing the same way because we know that we can create chances. We'll pin Hibs back. Actually, Lawrence just said before we came on air there, Hibs will tire, I think, as the game goes on because they're a man down and they'll have to do a lot of extra work and extra running. So there's still plenty of time left. And we've got good players that we can turn to on the bench as well that can come on and give us a wee bit extra spark if we need to. So it's a bit early for panicking just now. But a goal is definitely required, I think, in the first kind of 15 minutes or so of the half just to ease us into the rest of the game.
Show that urgency in the first 15 after Angie's team talk at half-time. We are keen to know what you're thinking in the comments. Stephen Sloan, what's Starfelt playing at? Well, I'm going to ask that question in just a wee moment. Robert Little, what is Starfelt doing there? And Lane, officiating is woeful, never a penalty. And I think that even the red card was a joke. Everyone relax, though. We will tear them apart in the second half. Well, I agree with half of that, Lane. I think it was a penalty, but I thought the sending off was questionable. But I'm going to ask you first, Sean. What was your take on the two big decisions?
Penalty is a simple one. Yeah, he's pulled the jersey. That is a penalty. The second yellow card is a little more complicated. The rule for that with dangerous play is when somebody gets kicked in the face, somebody's supposed to get a yellow card. If it's a high foot up at chest height, then that's the player that raises his foot. If it's low, as in the player's lowered his head, then that's supposed to be a yellow card to the player that's lowered his head. And for me, that one was right in the borderline between those two. So I think he's just taken a long time to think about it. He couldn't really make up his own mind. And he just went, well, I need a yellow card to someone, so I'll just go with the guy that has done the kick instead of the one that's lowered his head. Yeah, tough one. Borderline. I'd be upset if it was a Celtic player.
Yeah, I think we would be, Lawrence, wouldn't we? I mean, there's nobody, certainly on Acsom's halftime bulletin, that's saying it wasn't a penalty. I mean, it's frustrating when it happens. It doesn't matter who the player is, but Starfelt's on a short leash sometimes when it comes to criticism. And obviously, he was the guy doing the pulling. I just don't see the point. The boys still got to win the ball. I think it's Greg Taylor's in front of Starfelt. There is no point in pulling his jersey whatsoever. It was just slack. It was complacent. And he's put us in a situation where we've got to come out and really go for it in the second half.
Listen, I'm not too sure if it was for pulling the jersey or for the push afterwards. You know, exactly what he's doing there is, you could give it for either, couldn't you? The Hibs sending off, yeah, you'd be disappointed. I thought the boys should have been off 10 minutes earlier, the challenge in Starfelt. He's up in the air. He's getting studs in. He's late. He's out of control. He's lucky to get away with a yellow, I thought there, but didn't think he should have been off either. A couple of penalty shouts for us. Didn't really see anything on the replays. But, yeah, we'll create chances. Worried about how bad it is that Hatate had to go off, but not easy to panic, I think. Hibs will tire. We've not had a lot in target, 4 or 5 in target out of 14 we've had. We'll expect to see Abada come on at some point. We'll be set for a goal. I think if we get one, the first 30 minutes, I think we're going to win it. But, I wouldn't even panic if we hadn't scored in the first 15 in the second half.
I don't think there will be panic. It was obviously a blow Kevin, when Hatate, having nutmegged someone, pulls up, straight away when they do that wee skip in the middle of the park when there's nobody round about them, you're going off. It's a hamstring. And that was a massive blow. But we spoke about the dynamic before the game that would have changed between Moy being out and O'Reilly coming in. I think there is a completely changed dynamic, and I think that's been changed again with the loss of Hatate for Turnbull. What's your thoughts on that? Because we're now, the makeup of that midfield is completely different now, isn't it?
I think if you bring in O'Reilly in to start a game in place of Moy or Hatate, I don't think you lose that much. O'Reilly coming in, because I think he's an athletic player. He's very skillful on the ball. He's got a good range of passing and good eye for a pass. But I do think you lose a big part of that dynamic when it's Turnbull that comes in. I'm not Turnbull's biggest fan as a Celtic player. I think he's a very talented player. I think he's a really good player. For me, he just doesn't fit the way that we want to play the game. He's too slow and kind of laborious when he's on the ball, and he's not got the same energy levels. And that's what we're missing from Hatate, is not being there, is just having that extra bit of energy. The guy that just kind of runs about, hustles and harries, forces mistakes, and again has the eye for a pass. We've lost a bit of creativity in the midfield there, and it's no disrespect intended towards Turnbull. I just don't think he's the same kind of player or the type of player that we need in that midfield, and you can definitely see that that's a wee drop off in quality, and we're going to have to address it somehow in the second half.
Now that Kevin has said that, Sean, in the first 5 minutes of the second half, Turnbull's going to strike one from 25 yards. That's what Turnbull brings to the party, isn't it? He can, out of nothing, when you've got the 10 jerseys behind the ball, Turnbull can pull something like that out of the bag.
Well, as much...
See if he does do that. See if he does do that, the biggest cheer will be from me, and I will eat a large slice of humble pie.
No, but you're good at that, Kevin. You're good at that. You highlight something, and then the opposite happens. So I'm glad you've done it.
Happens.
I'm
Exactly.
expecting Turnbull to score now. But that's what he brings to the party, isn't it, Sean?
As much as Starfelt's getting the blame, rightly so, for pulling the jersey, Starfelt has one of them in him every single game. Sometimes it results in a goal, sometimes it doesn't, and today it did. But if you actually track back about 30 seconds further, it's Turnbull is fully at fault in 3 separate ways for the conceding of that throw-in down there. He gives away possession. He then tries to pull, is then unable to re-win possession or even stop them in a meaningful way, pulling players back, doing nothing. So I would give Turnbull almost as much as blame as Starfelt for conceding that goal. He's not been good. He's been very poor, to be totally honest. He's like a man down at the moment.
That's a good point, because the one thing that's fresh in memory is the part of the play that we've seen replayed time and time again, which is Starfelt pulling the jersey, and as Lauren's saying, shoves Hanlon as well. But yeah, Turnbull, we're in full possession of the ball. We're in attack. He loses the ball. He then tries to track back and he fills the guy. Beyond the halfway line, down the wing, doesn't win the ball a second time, and then it's eventually punted out for that long throw in to come in. So it's a good point. I'm not really looking to dig into any individual, but Starfelt is on a short leash with a lot of people in the comments. He's been referred to as Tebele 2.0. What does Tebele do now? Is it Cognac? Does he?
I think so, mate. But
yeah.
Got a league winners' medals, north and south of the border in the one season, though. So it wasn't that
who was the one that he won down south? Birmingham.
Yeah.
Okay. And Autumn Glow, Starfelt's a Celtic player and I want him to do well, but he is Effie 2.0. We'd like to see more of Kobayashi. I think sometimes the worst thing you can do with a player when that's happened is to pull him off at half time. I think that, just play through it. And Starfelt, when he defends, and he defends well, I think, as Sean says, there is that niggle in the back of your mind that he could give something daft away. He's done that, but I think we've got.
Open to score. He was unlucky with that header.
He did. He hit the bar. Yeah.
Listen, see that yellow card for the Hibs manager? Is that the only sanction? Celtic's on the attack, will break it down, will kick another ball in.
David Marshall should have got a yellow for that as well. He chucked a ball in. Yeah.
They're going to try
much punishment for the Hibs manager deciding to stop a Celtic attack.
What is the punishment for a manager getting sent off in any case, really?
Yeah.
Sent to the stand. Sits right behind the dugout and still gives the instructions. No, you're right. They're going to try every petty trick in the book. That's exactly what they're going to try.
I think that's the first time I've seen a manager stopping a tie like that. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Andrew, we might change formation and go 2 up front.
Did you see the look that Ange gave him, though, Lawrence?
Yeah.
He gave him that stare. Jim comes in, huge not having Rio and Moya. It is because they two players have become mainstays in that midfield. But we continually, week on week, going about the strength of the Celtic squad, Kevin. So you've got a wee bit of adversity here. And the guys need to step up. I don't think O'Reilly's had a fantastic first half. You need to step up, son. You know what this is all about now. You're not a new player. You've played the games at this level. You've played at Champions League level. And sometimes a player like him just needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck. I mean, we keep going on about the quality, the secondary quality, the players on the bench. So it's up to these players to show us that they've got that quality in adversity to pull this back and win the game.
Exactly, it is. As you say, it's one of the things we keep on going on about is that strength and depth, and that's why we end up winning games in the second half, or why we end up kind of running up a scoreline in the second half, because we look to the bench and we're bringing these guys on that make a difference. So now they're in there. Someone like O'Reilly, Turnbull, this is their chance. You're going to look at that bench now and you go, we probably made the midfield substitution that we were going to make at the start of the game. We've had to make it early. So maybe those two are more likely to stay on for the full game, because you'll probably not throw on somebody like Ben Summers if there's, too much at stake. So these guys have then got to, as you say, rise to that occasion and drag us through the game. But again, you look at the bench and you'll go, you've got Abada waiting to come on. You've got Haksabanovic. I think he could come on and do that kind of, what we call an inside right or inside left kind of position, not quite a winger, not quite the number 10, but give us something different. And there we've got options. So to go back to the original point, there's no need to panic just yet. We've got players that can come off the bench and change it if we need to. But we've got players in the park that, for the first 30 odd minutes, we're dominating the game and can go out and do that again. All we need is that little bit of break in front of goal, because we will create chances. And if we can start creating more for Kyogo, because he was one player we weren't really creating that many for, if we can get him in front of goal again, you're just, you're always confident he'll put the ball in the back of the net. And if we get one, you can be sure that we'll go and get a second.
Well, I'm not sure why, but Greg Taylor stayed on the pitch for half time. He's been warming up the whole half. It's half time instead of going into the changing room.
Maybe he's felt that injury a bit, or the bit he's getting rehab on. So you might say, Bernabeu, come on. But listen, this could be a game for Bernabeu. They're going to be sitting deeper. It might be.
See, in terms of this, we're sitting here at half-time, we're 1-0 down. If Kevin quite rightly says, we've been in a situation recently against St Mirren and against Hearts where we've been a goal down and we've been able to find what was required to win those games. Jota spoke about it during the week regarding the fact that we stick to our game plan. And, we believe that we've got the quality to win these games. If we're sitting at 60, 65 minutes, Sean, and that hasn't happened, the breakthrough hasn't come, what do we do at that stage in your mind?
There's been plenty of games in the recent past where it's been getting past that time and I'm starting to go, this is the day we're dropping points, and then Celtic can just knock 2 in after 80 minutes or whatever. So I'll try and stay calm all the way to the end. But, it's just, we're all emotionally invested and we will build anxiety the longer time goes. It's just part of nature.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jota's had a good first half. If he continues to do that, as Kevin says, chances will continue to fall at the feet of the likes of Kyogo. Sometimes he needs 2 or 3 just to get his sights set up, and then he'll score one. And I wouldn't bet against that. But you do have, Lawrence, guys like Abada and Haksabanovic. We spoke about their impact from the bench. Maybe not so much when they got a start recently, but their impact from the bench. They're dangerous players. I think O seems really hungry. I'm not sure Ange will go 2 up top, but I think if O does come on at some stage, he's going to be hungry for goals as well. So there's plenty of options on the bench for us.
Listen, we're a man up, so we might see 2 up top, and I wouldn't discount Summers coming on as an attacking midfielder with a man up. Ange might think, you should have a wee bit more freedom as an attacking midfielder then. It's still what we play for. I don't think it's panic stations at all. We've seen this. We will create chances. It's unusual for us not to score at Celtic Park. So, I'm fully confident. I'm still as confident in 6-1. Let's settle for 4 now.
Well, we'll take 4 or 5. The game has started. Thanks everybody for getting involved. 800 strong in the live stream. Give us a wee thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're going to go to the second half where Celtic can hopefully bring back the 1-goal deficit. All that's left for me to say is thank you once again, Kevin McCluskey, Sean Connolly, Lawrence Connolly, for joining me on a Celtic